Hello, everybody. Welcome to SureFire Live. Hope you guys are doing well. I have a good night planned. I've got some life lessons. I hope you like them. I've got a clip of a guy who talks about them, and I kind of want to break them down. And it's pretty funny. It's a comedian. But I'd never heard these life lessons before and the way he says them. And so I want to go through those. I wanted to, coming up, just a couple events coming up. I get to speak at the HPBA show in Nashville. And if you're coming to the HPBA, it's Hearth Patio Barbecue Association show. I've been asked to do 2 talks at that show, and it's an honor. Love to do it. They asked me to even bring my books and sign my books, and that was an honor. I wrote the book 2015, 16. It came out. It actually became a bestseller in 17 on Amazon in its division. And so I'm going to do 2 talks at that show. And the first one on Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday, I wrote down the 2 talks I'm going to give, which is how to build a world-class service division. And that's just kind of the processes of building, what I believed, how to build a division like that. Now, I'm going to tell you, every day I'm not world class in my business, but it's how to do it, all the right things. And then the other one was earn, not given, which that's what I believe in pay structures is I pay you what you earn. I don't give you a paycheck. You earn a paycheck. And, our commission structures and our pay structures throughout all my companies, I'm going to show you how we pay people, because I have people on every pay structure. I have people on salaries plus profit sharing. I have commission structures for production. I have hourly for some people, and, vice versa, and all those things. So throughout my companies, I've got different pay structures, and I'll show you how we do it and why I believe in these pay structures. Later, I'll turn that class into a SureFire class and have it so that you guys can, if you're a SureFire subscriber, will be on there as well. Got a couple early comments. Hey, guys, Jackson Long. Hello, Jackson. Thank you for joining us tonight. And then got another one. Hi, Mark. I think the answer is when you see my link and it says give SureFire, StreamYard permission, I think that's how I see your name, but I love it anyway. But it says hello guys, thank you so much. Two-sided conversation always makes it better if you talk to me while I go through my ranting. I love comments, and it helps run the show. So it means a lot to me. We've got a great crowd building. You guys, when you're watching on whatever outlet, you're seeing probably a couple people, but I've got it on about 10 different outlets, from YouTube to LinkedIn to 4 or 5 different Facebook pages. And so they all link in different ways. And so you can see people joining. So Chuck Roydhouse says, welcome back to formerly snowy Nashville. Yeah, we were in Puerto Rico and at a Lindemann University event. I'm going to start off the night talking kind of a quick recap on that. Several people were there. It was a fantastic event, amazing. Plus, it was warm and everybody else was freezing and icing over. And there was a bunch of us down there just like, man, we got lucky on this one. Chad, turn up the heat on that jacket. Hey, Mark. So, yeah, this is a heated jacket, Aurora heated jacket. And it makes life really good. If it's cold out and you kick on that heat, man, I'm a big fan of heated jackets now. So yeah, here it is. And you can actually have different levels. I don't sell this jacket, but then you can hit it and go to different colors. White and then a blue is the next level down. And it's fantastic. It has a little battery pocket in it, and you can charge your phone if you need to. And it just, I guess I'm getting old. I don't know. It makes it better. Couple more things here. Let's see. Comments. Josh says, hey, Mark, still no cigarettes for this guy. Hey, quick story, Josh. I don't think you'd mind me saying that. Josh is my manager in Milwaukee, and 19-year, 20-year vet of the industry. He knows his stuff, and he's new to managing a division for us, and I was sitting next to him, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, some personal stuff about me. It's so funny. One of these life lessons is, basically about your opinions, and everybody's got one. They all stink and about this, but it talks about looking up your own ass. Well, I had a colonoscopy last 3 weeks ago, and they told me, they go up there and check stuff. It's a level 2 inspection. And they said, hey, you've got, some things going on in there that now you're high risk for colon cancer. So it was like not a good feeling. That's not, I don't have it. I don't want any wrong stuff. It's just I have high risk of it. And I've never been told that before. And I'm like, oh my God. So basically my prognosis is, or the solution is, you don't eat red meat. You don't eat red meat. You don't eat pork. And pretty much it's one of those cancers that if you stop doing that, go a little higher on fiber, pretty much won't get it realistically. So it's an easy solution for me. And I said, man, I just can't eat it anymore. Doctors gave me a warning, and I got to abide by it. No problem. I'll do it. I'm real good at it. You told me I got to do something, I do it. Well, I said that to Josh, and Josh smoked cigarettes. And I said, well, my mom died from cancer, from lung cancer, from cigarettes. And they told her, and she had plenty of time, but she just wouldn't listen to them. And like, hey, I said, also with cigarettes, you got 92% chance or better of getting COPD. So that's like a given. You are going to get it. And then life starts to suck because you can't get rid of it. And then it progresses into cancer. I'm like, you're given like all the warnings, and you got to do something. Like, you can't go through this life being warned and then just keep going, and then the results suck. So, I told him, I said, dude, you don't have to tell me twice. If this is the answer and I got a chance to have a better life later, I'm doing it. I mean, who cares? I love red meat. I went to pro barbecue school. I love pork and all that stuff, man. If it's going to give me that result, I'm done. No problem. And so anyway, Josh took that message, and he could tell I was very heartfelt about it when I was sitting next to him, and he hadn't smoked since that day. And thank you, Josh. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for doing it more than anything. And I'll just tell you, this is not why Josh is doing it, but in my company, I give you $500. If you stop smoking for 90 days, I give you $500. And no questions asked, but if you ever start smoking again, you owe me the $500 back. Pretty fair deal. And I've gotten probably 10 or 12 employees to stop smoking through that program. And I've only had one guy go back on, and then we doubled down, and he hasn't smoked since. So anyway, congratulations, Josh. Thank you. Long story to get to a point of a heartfelt, trying to help each other, man. That's all we're doing. Chad says Puerto Rico was awesome. Lindemann U was worth it. Had a blast. It really was, Chad. I don't know if you want to type in here, but what I just saw JJ's comment, but I don't know if you want to put on here, Chad, what your big takeaway was. I was going to go over some of my takeaways here in a minute, but it really was a great event. Lindemann has done it for a long time, probably 10, 12 years, but they didn't do it every year. They've had all kinds of issues in Puerto Rico between hurricane and Zika virus and COVID. And they did it some years up there, but really good guys trying to do the right thing by people, put on a fantastic show, and highly recommended. They probably won't do it every year, but when they do it, go to it. They always do a good job. They're a huge chimney company, huge service division. They know what the battles we fight, and they know the kind of things we need to hear. So it was super good. Hello from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Hello, Galilee. Congratulations, Go Blue and the Detroit Lions. Oh my God, you guys are crazy up there. And I love to see what's happening with Detroit. I love that they haven't ever done anything, and there might be people that hate them, but I always love an underdog, and I love somebody who hasn't always been winning coming in. So congratulations. So JJ says, is it okay to smoke crack? Well, no, I have to do a drug test on you at some point. I've told this story before. I'm going to say it real quick. This kid, one time we were doing drug tests in my company, and he tested positive. And I went to him and said, "Hey, I can't have you work here anymore. You tested positive." He said, "Tested positive for what?" I said, "You tested positive for cocaine." He said, "Cocaine?" He said, "I've never done cocaine in my life." I said, he said, I promise you, Mark, I've never done cocaine. I said, well, crack is cocaine. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll go ahead and leave." So, yes, crack is cocaine. And Chad, I mean, they ask who the sexiest chimney guy was in the industry. I am going to I wasn't going to say anything, but I will sheepishly say that they voted for me on that. It was very embarrassing. Brandy Biswell put up, it was like a Kahoot like thing, and I got I got voted for that. But Chad is fourth, so he is the fourth sexiest chimney guy in the industry. I think it was me and John Caesar and Chad, and I can't remember the fourth. Maybe somebody else remembers. It was funny, just all good times. Only on the weekends, JJ. Crack on the weekends, yeah, no problem. Just do crack on the weekends. And then JJ also says, "I'm heading to the 49er game Sunday. Paid $7K for 2 tickets." Well, JJ's rich. I mean, he's rich. He's a Mason. He's amazing. And he makes money, and he travels to Croatia and pays big money for 49ers tickets. Good luck to the 49ers. I think it looks like it might be 49ers get through that Baltimore Ravens team. Oh, Chuck Hall was the third or fourth guy, and so it was a lot of fun. And JJ says, "Yeah, right." All right, guys. Well, so thank you for the comments. Love it. Let me just go over real quickly some of my takeaways from Lindemann, and just a couple of things. They had a lot of motivational speakers. They had, people from all walks of life. They had Mark Merrill, who was an ex-WWF or WWE wrestler. He was big time at one point. They had several business consultants and people. They had a coach, a Conquer coach. We did these exercises where our strengths and weaknesses were in our companies. And it was really very a deep talk. And it opened up my eyes to some areas that we need to work on. And I think all of us did. And then Doug Hatch, if you know Doug, he runs All American Chimney in Louisville, Kentucky. And he is a Delta airline captain, pilot. And the whole time he was going through flight school, he was also a chimney guy because he was going broke flying these small planes. And he built a chimney company up to a very big chimney company in Louisville. And he kept going up the ranks in being a pilot. And his story is fascinating, hilarious. He's going to do it again at the NCSG in Orlando. Do not miss his talk. It's so funny and it's good. So here's my takeaways. One of them was I like this idea. I've never thought about asking my employees where they would like to travel. Where would you like to go in life? It's just a nice open-ended question where people can open up to you about what's interesting to them. We always think about, maybe it is locally, maybe it's to the Smoky Mountains, or maybe it's to California or wherever. But, I thought that was a good question. And these are going to be very random. I liked, because behind every story, every employee, there's a unique story about who they are and how they are wired. And then this one hockey coach was talking about, he would ask them, why are you, why do you work? And if you worked for money, if you really worked for money, all the money that you ever worked for would be in the bank, right? Because you would just work for money and be there. And that's what you wanted. But you don't want the money. You want what the money gives you. You follow what's important to somebody by where the money is being spent. JJ, he's world traveling 49ers tickets. Chad Murray, he's buying sports cars. Me, I buy businesses and sports cars. So, what's important to you? But in this case, He found out what's important to the technician or the employee, and or in this case, hockey player. It was almost always family, right? It was almost always family was the reason people, men especially, work. My family, my family, my family. Well, then he wrote a letter, a detailed letter to the wife or the family about that employee, about why they worked, what I learned about my employee and what means something to him. And he said, you talk about impactful when a wife or the family gets, or the husband gets the email or the letter about why somebody is working there and what you see as an employer in them. He said that was gold. He said that really helps solidify how long people last with you if you care that much. And I can't remember the stat he did. Maybe somebody else remembers, but they went from just a super high turnover rate of people and team members, and I can't remember employees, to almost no people leaving once you gave that level of care. And I hear all these tricks and things with, employee programs and, giving them more spiffs and nap times and game rooms and workout rooms and, more trips to things and picnics and things. And all that's okay. But really, the key to having people work with you a long time is how much you care about it, how much you truly care. When you got to go to the wall for them, you're there for them. When they're in trouble, you're there for them to a degree. You can't just let them take you down, but how much you really care and acknowledge them and give them some vision of something better, like where are we going. That's all. That's what it is. The money is one thing, but it's the vision and it's the care is the next thing. I don't think giving people more naps or more time off is caring, like unlimited vacation or whatever. I don't think that means you care more. That means you're trying to trick them into staying more. But it's the care factor, and he hit on it with that, that letter. Also, a couple more things. The Blues Brothers, Brandy Biswell had a rebuttal sheet for their people of rebuttals when people said, you're too high or all these problems. They had a rebuttal sheet sitting there for all of their customer service people about canned rebuttals. Like, how do you answer that question? Why are you guys so expensive? What makes you whatever. So it was neat. I thought that was a good idea to have that canned rebuttal sheet. We tell each other stuff, but we don't have that like literally written down. Alan Rush did a great job speaking, had an amazing thing. He talked about Rilla like he did a couple weeks ago. And then he had the guy from Rilla that flew in. He flew like 30 hours, of travel time to get there to speak for 10 minutes. It was really good. 3 things that separate a $600,000 sales guy from a $3 million sales guy were these things: rapport ability with the customer, confidence in what you're selling, and lastly, the sales process consistency, which is it's really those processes they talk about, but then it's almost always the follow-up. The biggest difference is how you follow up or you don't follow up with your estimates. A couple more things. He talked about the people who really, he had this like a target. So there was 10%, 80%, 10%. So in the middle of the target was the 10% of your employees or people you're around that bring energy, bring it every day, are excited to be around. They're on fire, right? They get it. They're moving. You just want to be around them, and they embody who you want in your company. But that's about 10% of the workforce that you have typically. Then you've got 80% that are just kind of there, that they might be closer to the center or closer to the outside, but they do their job. They do a good job. But they're not like on fire. They're just, plodding along, doing their thing, and you need them. And then you got the 10% on the outer ring that you probably need to get rid of, or you need to try to rescue them. But in general, not everybody is meant to stay with you very long, or they may have been great at one point, but they're kind of starting to fade and they may be going out there. But what he talked about was getting that person in the middle, or that 10% guy. His job was to go out and get the 80% people and bring them in and reel them in and pick out the people inside and that 80 to pump them up. And I thought that was an interesting. We've got a few guys in our company that are definitely the torchbearers and all in, and they're the ones who got to bring everybody in. So I thought that was interesting. Chad says, I thought Rilla I thought the real reporting on when the sweep talks about the company, it's after the money has been proposed. 1% do it, super impactful. So what he's saying here is, do you talk about when you're finishing with a customer or your technicians, do you talk about the company story? Do you say, hey, do you know much about Ashbusters? And some people say yes, some people say no. It doesn't really matter what they say. You're going to tell them, you're going to say, great. Well, you got 5 slides or 10 slides and say, hey, we are a local company, been in business 35 years. We've serviced over 100,000 company, 100,000 chimneys. We do all, whatever the company story is. We support the industry. We sweep away cancer. We do the predators, like whatever the story is, how you started, awards you've won, those kind of things. What Chad was saying was, the guys who sold the most would talk financial terms. Hey, how do you want to pay for this? Or here's the cost of it. How do you want to pay for it? Do you want to use your money or our money? If you're going to propose financing, credit card, check, whatever, break it up into payments. And then once they kind of talk about that, then they said, well, before we go any further, do you know anything? They go into company story. Company story was always part of the thing, but he showed in stats how important it was to, one, talk about company story, but where to talk about it in the sales process. But that's what kind of long version of what Chad was saying there. He said, I love Chad Murray book, trying to picture him wrestling. And then Chad said, thanks. So those are some of my big takeaways from Lindemann. Let me just figure out here. Yeah, I think that's all my big stuff on that. So if anybody else has anything from Lindemann that they saw, please put it out there and we can talk about it. Well, so the topic of tonight was the nine lessons of life, and then just some business lessons. And Chad said he has a lot more lessons than that. So yeah, there's definitely more than that. But I'm going to play this clip for you from this comedian. It's a little bit long. I think it's about 3 or 4 minutes. And then let me see no, it's actually 6 minutes. So this guy's British, but I'm going to play him here and then bring him up. And we'll discuss after he's done. Let me get my mic over there. Let me get my mic in position so you can hear it. And turn the volume up. All right, here we go.
I'm certainly not here to give career advice because, well, I've never really had what most would consider a job. However, I have had large groups of people listening to what I say for quite a few years now, and it's given me an inflated sense of self-importance. So I will now, at the ripe old age of 37.9, bestow upon you 9 life lessons. 1, you don't have to have a dream. Americans on talent shows always talk about their dreams. Fine, if you have something you've always wanted to do, dreamed of, like in your heart, go for it. After all, it's something to do with your time, chasing a dream. And if it's a big enough one, it'll take you most of your life to achieve. So by the time you get to it and are staring into the abyss of the meaninglessness of your achievement, you'll be almost dead, so it won't matter. I never really had one of these dreams, and so I advocate passionate dedication to the pursuit of short-term goals. Be micro-ambitious. Put your head down and work with where you might end up. Just be aware the next worthy pursuit will probably appear in your periphery, which is why you should be careful of long-term dreams. If you focus too far in front of you, you won't see the shiny thing out the corner of your eye. 2, don't seek happiness. Happiness is like an orgasm. If you think about it too much, it goes away. Keep busy and aim to make someone else happy, and you might find you get some as a side effect. We didn't evolve to be constantly content. Contented Homo erectus got eaten before passing on their genes. 3, remember, it's all luck. You are lucky to be here. You are incalculably lucky to be born. Understanding that you can't truly take credit for your successes, nor truly blame others for their failures, will humble you and make you more compassionate. Empathy is intuitive, but is also something you can work on intellectually. 4, exercise. I'm sorry, you pasty, pale, smoking philosophy grads, arching your eyebrows into a Cartesian curve as you watch the human movement mob winding their way through the miniature traffic cones of their existence. You are wrong and they are right. Well, you're half right. You think, therefore you are, but also you jog, therefore you sleep, therefore you're not overwhelmed by existential angst. You can't be can't, and you don't want to be. Play a sport, do yoga, pump iron, run, whatever, but take care of your body. You're going to need it. Most of you mob are going to live to nearly 100, and even the poorest of you will achieve a level of wealth that most humans throughout history could not have dreamed of. And this long, luxurious life ahead of you is going to make you depressed. 5, be hard on your opinions. A famous bon mot asserts that opinions are like assholes and that everyone has one. There is great wisdom in this, but I would add that opinions differ significantly from assholes and that yours should be constantly and thoroughly examined. We must think critically and not just about the ideas of others. Be hard on your beliefs. Take them out onto the veranda and hit them with a cricket bat. Be intellectually rigorous. Identify your biases, your prejudices, your privileges. Most of society's arguments are kept alive by a failure to acknowledge nuance. We tend to generate false dichotomies and then try to argue one point using 2 entirely different sets of assumptions, like 2 tennis players trying to win a match by hitting beautifully executed shots from either end of separate tennis courts. 6, be a teacher. Please, please, please be a teacher. Teachers are the most admirable and important people in the world. You don't have to do it forever, but if you're in doubt about what to do, be an amazing teacher. Even if you're not a teacher, be a teacher. Share your ideas. Don't take for granted your education. Rejoice in what you learn and spray it. 7, define yourself by what you love. I found myself doing this thing a bit recently where if someone asks me what sort of music I like, I say, well, I don't listen to the radio because pop song lyrics annoy me. Or if someone asks me what food I like, I say, I think truffle oil is overused and slightly obnoxious. And I see it all the time online, people whose idea of being part of a subculture is to hate Coldplay or football or feminists or the Liberal Party. We have a tendency to define ourselves in opposition to stuff. As a comedian, I make my living out of it. But try to also express your passion for things you love. Be demonstrative and generous in your praise of those you admire. Send thank you cards and give standing ovations. Be pro stuff, not just anti stuff. 8, respect people with less power than you. I have in the past made important decisions about people I work with, agents and producers, big decisions based largely on how they treat the wait staff in the restaurants we're having the meeting in. I don't care if you're the most powerful cat in the room. I will judge you on how you treat the least powerful. So there. 9, finally, don't rush. You don't need to already know what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Don't panic. You will soon be dead. Life will sometimes seem long and tough, and God, it's tiring. And you will sometimes be happy and sometimes sad, and then you'll be old, and then you'll be dead. There is only one sensible thing to do with this empty existence, and that is fill it. Not fill it, fill it. Life is best filled by learning as much as you can about as much as you can, taking pride in whatever you're doing, having compassion, sharing ideas, running, being enthusiastic. And then there's love and travel and wine and sex and art and kids and giving and mountain climbing. But you know all that stuff already. It's an incredibly exciting thing, this one meaningless life of yours. Good luck, and thank you for indulging me.
I love that. I love that so much. So what'd you guys think? I've got the lessons written down. I want to go over them, but I just love the way he did that. And I hadn't quite heard him that way. So I hope you liked it as much as I did. So let's go over the lessons. Let's talk about them. Get these banners up. So it's right here. Where is it? Okay. Number 1, you don't have to have a dream. I thought that was super interesting because I have dreams. I used to want to play music professionally. That's why I'm in Nashville, and I did play professionally. And some of those dreams made me made me stay focused on something, whether it was right or wrong. I dreamed of being this and that, and it kind of drove my daily thing. But in the chimney industry, I didn't really want to do it. I was actually embarrassed to do it. It definitely wasn't my dream. Yet it became the most successful thing in my life, but it was never a dream. There was never any part of it. It was just a means to an end. If I sweep 5 chimneys, I get $300. At the time it was like $55 a piece or whatever. And so it was never a dream. It was just, I could do it. And I liked people and I liked servicing people. And I knew there was a need for it. But I have to agree with that. He said, rather than a dream, have very short bursts of intense focus. And I've found that later in life, that's kind of what I do now. I have several businesses, but it's not that I go super deep in them and stay down in them. I actually stay very, very shallow in them and assign people that go deep in them and understand them really well. I was at our powder coating business the other day, and we had a quality control problem. The way something was hung on the powder coat line left a line in this piece that you couldn't have missing the powder, and it had a streak on it. And they're like, I was listening to him teach how it happened, my manager, how it happened and what to do about it. I don't know any of that stuff. And, it happens all the time. I was in our graphics department today and watching him print out vehicle wraps and tell me the problems he had. And I don't know any of it, but I can help. But I've learned that I like that idea of the short, focused, dreams and get something underway and then hand it off. I mean, SureFire is a good example of that. We worked super hard in SureFire for a very long time, getting everything to work and all the videos up and all the things to go, and the automation and training our staff to onboard people and use the process. But now I don't do that. I do the show and I create courses for it, but the daily how to get somebody to do, log in and figure out problems and how things work. We've got Bree and Aaron, and we've got a great staff that's very good at it. But that's what I do. I stay focused on something, and in that result, there's fun and there's growth. And if it works right, it works. And if it doesn't work right, you move on and do something else. So you don't have to have a dream. You just have to decide, I can do this. It doesn't have to be your favorite thing ever. You don't have to love it. I could love doing chocolate. I could absolutely love it. It sounds like a dream job. Man, you get to make chocolate all day. Well, pretty soon, even making chocolate becomes absolutely mind-numbing to do the same things over and over to make chocolate. You get sick of chocolate. Like, you've had enough chocolate. It's just chocolate is it. So the dream of what you do is a pretty hard one. For me, it's always more, can I do this? Can I keep doing it? Can I get really, really good at it? Because it gives me the means to another end. I love scuba diving. I love motorcycle riding. I love speaking. I love talking to people. Like, the things I do over here give me the ability to do the things over here. Don't seek happiness. That's interesting. We're always taught that that's the most important thing, is for you to be happy. And he basically says what you want to seek is making other people happy, right? That is where the real joy is to pour into others and see others be happy. One of my employees one time loved deer hunting. He absolutely loved deer hunting. It was a big deal because deer hunting is always in chimney sweeping season. Guys want to go hunting, and I need you to work because, man, this is time to make hay while the sun shines. But, we had to make some concessions, and now he's the manager of my powder coating facility. But he loved deer hunting. And then one day he didn't love deer hunting. What he loved more was watching his son hunt. And he never, I don't know that he's ever shot I shouldn't say it. He almost doesn't shoot deer anymore at all. He'd rather take you out and watch you win than it is for him to win. And that's where he gets his happiness, is watching you. And I was talking to Dave Bancroft. We're at a birthday party of a friend of ours, Chuck Hall, this last weekend. And Dave likes to hunt a lot. He did. But now what he likes to do is take pictures of the wildlife. He doesn't want that win. He wants to see the animals winning. He wants to see the animals flourishing, and that's where he gets joy. He's got like 100 trail cam. He said it cost him $1,100 every time in batteries to switch all the trail cam batteries in what he does. But that's, to me, that's where happiness is. Once you've figured out your thing, figure out how to make other people happy. Don't make it about you. You get happiness in seeing other people succeed. It's a fantastic law of the universe. It's all luck. Man, we are lucky. You couldn't be more lucky. If you're watching this tonight, just look around you at how lucky you are. Hopefully you have your health. You're sitting here in front of a computer, hearing from a guy that has 40 years of business experience, talking to you on a platform that's just coming through your phone or your laptop or an iPad, and it's magic. We are living in the most magic of times. We are lucky to be here. You're lucky to have all the things you have. In business, we're lucky. God, anything could have wiped me out anytime, and anybody that's really pushed business knows there's times you've been on the very edge of losing it, but you didn't. There's been times you almost got killed, but you didn't. People say I'm lucky, and I feel like I am lucky. Sometimes it's you make your own luck, but man, we're all lucky. We all are so lucky. And what are you going to do with that luck? What are you going to do with your good fortune? I mean, if you sit there and complain about your good fortune, you've just wasted an opportunity that most of the earth wish they had your position. And in all of human history, we are the most fortunate have ever lived. And so what are you going to do with that? I watched a TikTok where these people from New Zealand had never seen a Walmart Supercenter. Now, I don't think of Walmart Supercenter as anything awesome. In fact, I try to stay away from that. But you should have seen these people at their amazement of walking through a Walmart Supercenter because they never seen this much selection. They went to the ice cream aisle and they just couldn't believe all of the options for ice cream. And then they couldn't believe there was pre-made pancakes and pre-made waffles. They're like, look, they're already made. And then they showed like Little Debbie's, and they were so excited about the honey buns and stuff. And I just totally am blind to all that. I walk through, I'm like, yeah, I need the thing, and let me get out of here. And they were like in Disneyland on something that we just take for granted. And it helped me I loved watching the newness through these New Zealanders' eyes. And it was a whole family. As a guy who's probably 35 or 40, bringing his whole family to a Walmart Supercenter. And it was fascinating to watch him just be in awe of everything that we just like complain about. I got a couple comments coming up here. Philip says you get more happiness from supporting others. You get their happiness. Yeah, I 1,000% agree with that. Love the enthusiasm, Mark, and you are absolutely right. I've learned I want to be an enthusiast. I want to be an enthusiast for you. If you're telling me a story about what you're into, I want to cheer you on. Like, if you're into it, man, I'm into it too. Because I who cares? Like, you can either be enthusiast or negative about it. Like, I would never do that. I don't want that. Or, I wouldn't do that. Or I don't like the Lions, or I don't like the Cowboys, or I don't like Corvettes, or whatever it is. Like, do you want to be that? And that's one of his other points. But yeah, be an enthusiast for people. Chad says, we ask new applicants how lucky they feel they are. Yes. If they say lower than 7, we don't hire them. That's a good point, Chad. And they said that about Einstein at that thing. What did he say? I wrote it down about Einstein, what he feels about, I can't find it. Oh, hold on. I think it's under my notes here. Yeah, I've got it here. Here's what Einstein says about that. And Chad, thank you for bringing that up. Here's what he said. The most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe. That is it. That is it. Do you believe you live in a friendly or hostile universe? And that's Einstein said that's the most important decision we ever make as humans. I thought maybe you've heard that before, but I hadn't. That was one of those aha moments. Lauren Pilger, she's an enthusiastic. She says, "That's me in a Buc-ee's." Yeah, I mean, Buc-ee's is that way, right? Buc-ee's is exactly that way. You walk through there and look at all the gas pumps, 120 gas pumps. There's Buc-ee's stuff is huge. The food, the candy, it is unbelievable. And then the bathrooms, like they're amazing. A Buc-ee's is amazing. Thank you, Lauren. That's a perfect example of a new wow factor. And man, be grateful, man. Be enthusiastic for people and things that are happening. Don't be. It's not about what you're against. It's more about what you're for. And I think that was all his thing. It comes up, but let's go into exercise. Now I don't need to go into exercise. You know, you need to exercise. His basic thing is we're going to be here a long time. We're probably going to be here a long time. Realistically, just take my age. I'm 56. Ideally, I have 30 more years. That's a long time, right? That's a pretty good amount of time I've got, right? To go through this. Maybe longer, maybe shorter, but in general, let's just say I make it to 80, 85, maybe. My family pretty much craps out about 85, 88. My dad died at 77. My mom died at 64, but she didn't take care of herself. But right. So that's time we got left. Now I can talk about time on another thing but take care of yourself. There's things you need to do. There's things you get a warning like I got a couple weeks ago. Listen to the warnings. When they say you got to do something, do it. A couple more comments. Let's see here. We got Lauren says, I actually would like a correction. My last name is Pilger Nelson. Yes, it is Pilger Nelson. Absolutely. Jack Watchman. Yes, I can see your name. Sup? Can you see my name? Hey, Jack. Jack was down there in Puerto Rico with us. Had a great time. Got to meet his wife. And Jack is one of those guys that's coming fast. He's accelerating. He's a guy that's like that. He cheers people on, and he listens and he reacts and acts on the latest news. What's the next step? I'll take the next step. He's always asking, and then he's moving. Like he doesn't just ask. We call that person an ask hole if they ask and they do nothing with it. So Jack is not an ask hole. Jack is a mover, doer, shaker, creator. And I've recently gotten to know him. He came through my Blue Collar University, him and his team. And he joined us with our SureFire Accelerator. And I love watching his growth, because you tell Jack to do something, Jack's like, okay, I'll do it. He figures out how to do it. He asks a bunch of questions and he gets after it. So thank you, Jack, for joining us tonight. Chad says, Jack, the great Texas dude. Yeah, we've all gotten to be good friends. So love that, Jack. Thank you for joining me tonight. Next, be hard on your opinions. This is a tough one because we have our opinions and we very rarely question our opinions. We almost always just take our opinions and we run them all the way through, and we want to say what we say, and we believe what we believe. And you probably have some truth in it. And then have you ever really believed something and all of a sudden you talk to somebody and it all changed? It flipped on you. I've had a couple of those moments in my life, and where, let's just say, take it for right now, it's a super hot topic with illegal immigration. And you can believe what you want on it. I believe certain things, but I can tell you this, even before that, before it was such a crazy thing, talk about illegals, and we would always say, hey, do it legally and we're all okay with it, right? We don't hate immigration. We hate illegal immigration. We hate this this flood and this. And I was going through this exercise with another speaker, and he was actually an illegal immigrant that had gotten legal status later. But he goes, Mark, what you don't understand is what it was like for me to try to do it legally. He said, I'm on the other side of this. And he said, you can't get in line to just come in the United States. It could take 10 plus years. It could take the better part of your healthy life to try to get, and it takes a ton of money. Even if you try to do it right, where he was, you had to pay somebody illegally $20,000 to jump up in line to get. It's all a scam. It's all not real. He said, so I decided I'm just gonna have to jump the fence. I'm gonna have to get over there. He said, he goes, I could go up to the fence and look across and see a Jack in the Box. He said, I never had a hamburger in my life. And I looked across and saw a Jack in the Box. I'm like, man, that Jack in the Box, I really want to try that. He said, the first night I got over the fence, I ran right to the dumpster and I got a Jack in the Box hamburger. I got right in there and got me one. And he said, then I got caught and deported. He said, I couldn't stay over there. I had to try to be in America, but I couldn't do it. There's no right. We don't have a way to actually welcome the best people in. And so we've got it all wrong now, but it actually made me feel differently about, I felt if I was on that side, I'd come over illegally too. I got lucky, right? I got lucky I got born here. I got super lucky of all these things that these people they didn't win the lottery. And so it's hard to judge against the lottery. I won the lottery. Now I'm judging the people who didn't win the lottery. Like, that's tough. Now I want there, and I know I'm going off topic. I want there to be immigration that's a good flow of, we know who we're bringing in and you do the right thing. You're a good citizen. You're a good person. You're doing the right thing. Yeah, man. Welcome. Come on in. You're a dirtbag. You're a criminal. You got all these things. No, man, you didn't win. You don't get to come here. But man, if you're trying, and the other side of that is we're draining Mexico of their best people too. Like if you're entrepreneurial and you're hardworking, you're like, I'm out of here. Well, then you're just sacrificing Mexico. They have nobody left. People who don't try to get out of there, it's not good for either side of this, but I'll move on. Be hard on your opinions. And yeah, I like that. A couple more comments before I go on. Jack's got thumbs up, and then Corey says, God bless America and no place else. I hope you mean in no place else. We've got it lucky. I don't think you mean don't bless any place else. But Lauren Pilger Nelson says, yes, small things and big things. Small thing avocados. I didn't like them. Now I love them. Large things, business expenses. People think that corporations have endless amount of money, but at the end of the day, it costs money to make money. And corporations are made up of people too, right? I'm corporation. I'm just a dude out here trying to make it. It's not like there's a big, huge bank account on the back of it. I take customers' money because I provide a service, and then I give it to vendors, suppliers, employees, and maybe a little bit left for me at the end. How much can I do that? Okay, I'm a corporation. I'm a big evil guy. No, I'm out here hustling like the rest of it. Great points, Lauren. I totally agree with you. This is a great talk. I love this talk tonight. Next, be a teacher. Yeah, there's several people on here that are teachers that want to teach and help people. We volunteer to teach. We, do shows to teach. We do podcasts. We do open things to teach. There's a great internal feeling to try to teach. We created SureFire because Jim Brewer said, man, I need to get all this information in my brain into something. I've got all these years of technical safety knowledge, all these gas knowledge, all these things I know, and I'm not going to leave. Nobody will know what I know. I'm about to leave it all. I sold my company. I'm selling my company. And I want to share, I want to leave my tracks in the sand, as they say. So you're watching a show because a guy needed to be a teacher. He needed to just leave that, get that out of him and show the world maybe a better way to do it. And we are all blessed by people who are truly a teacher. You don't have to be a teacher in school. You be a teacher of people. Be a mentor of men. Be a mentor of women. Be a guidepost. Be a giver. Show people how to do stuff. When they ask you how to build a business, show them what you know. Tell them the best you got. Like, teach people. There's some people that teach for a real ego boost. They teach because they want to be the teacher and known as the person with all the answers. But there's other people that have truly the heart of a teacher, and they're not doing it for ego. I mean, we all do things for ego, right? You do it because it makes you feel good, but some people do it because they want to feel superior. And you can tell that when they're teaching. They're more like teaching at you, and they're like, this versus teaching with you and helping you along. A couple weeks ago, I interviewed a guy that was Shane Nelson on my podcast. He was a teacher. He was a troubled kid. It's pretty fascinating. Listen, this guy has a crazy life experiences, but he helps troubled young men, get to the other side and be, come through that. And once you're kind of labeled as a troublemaker, Chad, as you're labeled as a troublemaker as a kid, it's hard to get out of that. You start believing it that you're a troublemaker, and then you do all the things that make you a troublemaker. And he was talking about how he's a teacher to bring men up, and don't let them be labeled that way. Don't let them be, put on that spiral path of, special education or juvenile delinquency or jail or all those things. A couple more comments coming in. It says, thank you for the correct last name. I'm here to teach. I love doing it. Tell me who this is. Who's telling me I'm here to teach? Love doing it. Mark, do a plug for Spats Camino. So I will. Let me just write that down. Spats Camino. I will do that at the end. I think that's John. Is that John telling me that? I'm pretty sure it is. Alan said it best in Puerto Rico. He needs to write his brain down. So many people and so many people need to write their brains down. Yeah. I mean, Alan, I don't think he'd mind us saying, but Alan kind of got real with the group. He said, hey, I've got vertigo really bad. He said, it's getting worse too. And Alan Rush, you guys know he's a partner in SureFire. He's like, hey, I at some point I can't even stand up. I've got a chair up here because at any point I could not. And he said, I don't have a good feeling about things. He goes, I don't know how long and where this is going to progress. I don't know if at some point I won't be able to leave my house. So I've got to write my system down and get it out there to help as many people. He's got a calling to help people. And Lauren said it right, that he said, I've got to get this down. He wants to teach you how to do sales because that's his connector. Find your connector, man. Teach people. They will love it. I mean, make TikToks, make YouTube videos. It doesn't matter if one person, 100 people watch, or 1,000 or 1,000,000. You will help people. I'm always surprised who sees my stuff on TikTok or on Facebook Live or podcasts. People come up to me all the time and say, man, this was revolutionary. I never seen them before. A girl ran up to me in Italy, knew my whole thing, my book and everything, and just spotted me in the crowd in Italy. She's from Wales. And it was fascinating. There were some other people that saw her just come up, and it was, you don't know who you're going to affect, but the main thing is try to help people. Chad says, bad apples because become the best teachers. They do. They got the best stories, and they know the other side of it, right? They know what it's like to be the bad apple, and you bring people along, not the person who was always top of the class and the valedictorian and always winning and had the silver spoon. And those aren't the best teachers. The ones that are the best teachers went through the roughest time. And at Lindemann, so many people, their stories, one after another, had really bad situations happen, and it's fascinating to hear them get through it. So it was John. Us bad apples become the best teachers. Yeah, I mean, Chad's gone through a lot of stuff. He's got fascinating stories. He wrote a book on it. He teaches people. He coaches people. He tries to give what he knows, and he's doing it just to do it. He was hidden in this industry forever. I told him he stayed under a rock forever. And he has a lot of good ideas and developed a lot of systems just all on his own. We were talking about chimney caps. And I was talking about, when I came out with the We Fix Leaky Chimney campaign and started telling everybody about it in the industry. I didn't really know the outside mount chimney cap at the time. I was just talking about all the other things. And hell, I mean, Chad's been making chimney caps for 20 years. I mean, 8 years before that part, but he stayed on his island. And, we're all better if we come out and help each other as much as we can. Lauren says, please contact John Pilger for Spats Community info. Join the Facebook group. I'm going to speak to that at the end of this live. Affect in the right way. Yeah. I mean, help people. We all need it. Get out there. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. A couple more things. Um, this was define yourself by what you love. This kind of goes along some of those other things, but who you are, it's, you can think of people in your mind and you know what they don't like because they're real loud about it. They hate this, hate that. Do you know what they love? Do you know what they care about? And I think you should define yourself by what you love, and again, that's part of being an enthusiast and being positive is work to what you love, and what you don't love, just minimize it. Don't respond to it. Don't react to it. One of my favorite sayings was from Mike Bodart. He said, "You know how a big fish stays a big fish, or how a big fish becomes a big fish? He doesn't take the bait. Doesn't go down that road. It just doesn't even matter. The haters are going to hate." I was talking to Jack at Lindemann, and he's like, "Man, there's not everybody necessarily likes you, Mark." And I'm like, "Man, I don't care. I don't care at all. I used to care. I do not care at all because they can't. Like the more you're trying to change things, the more you're going to get people that do not want the change, do not like your message. And then you get a bunch of people that love it and are absolutely behind you. There's no money, as they say, in the middle. There's nothing in the middle. Like if you're just milquetoast and you don't really pick a side, you'll never get a great following. And you also won't get a bunch of people hate you because they won't know you. But if you get out there and say your opinions and believe in what you believe in and do the change you believe in, you're going to get people that hate you, that literally cannot stand you. They look at you and they don't like you. And on the other side, you're going to get people that are absolutely amazed by you and wish they could do that. But there's nothing in the middle. If you're milquetoast, if you're not opinionated, if you don't put it out there, it's just like, nobody knows who you are. But if you get out there and say stuff, you got to be prepared for the arrows. You're going to get the cheers and you're going to get the arrows, and it's just you got to be good with it. So I was telling Jack, I'm like, man, the further you go in this industry, the more you can be hated and loved at the same time if you're trying to make a difference. If you believe in what you're saying, you tell people what you're saying, you're going to be hated, but you're going to be loved too. Man, I love the comments. Here they come. Good evening from Kentucky. Hey, Christian. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Lauren Pilger Nelson says, we're working on the next Lindemann U. Stay tuned for more info. So Lauren works for Lindemann. I forgot about that. I heard about it. She's always so much energy. She comes in like a ball of fire. She makes things happen. If you ever need to get into a bar and get through a crowded bar, through it to something, you want her on your team. That girl can move. It's just like the Red Sea. She can part it. She's Moses. She starts that New York accent and everybody parts it. You can just get right through there. She is fascinating. Downtown Nashville. Thank you, Lauren. Take time, smell the roses, and not waiting at the end of time to enjoy. Do it now, man. We don't have much time. Act like you don't have any time. You might live a long time, but man, you do have to enjoy it now. You really do. There's just, if you ever read the book 4,000 Weeks, that's 80 years. You got 4,000 weeks. And if you checked off those weeks in your life, at 40, you're halfway done. I'm getting up to 60, so I'm 2/3 done. Chad, disrupt for the better. Yeah. What are you going to do? I feel like if I'm not being honest, if I don't tell you what I believe and what I think will help you. Will Dawson was in charge of this whole thing. Will Dawson and Mike Bodart, from what I understand, were they're the driving force of this. Will, you put on an amazing show. Love how you donated to Kevin's charity, Warrior Horse. Fantastic. Will, you don't talk enough. I'd love to hear more from you. You're in the background, but you're like the maestro. You're pulling all the strings and making stuff happen. And it was so good. I saw a dinner picture of you and me. 2019, it popped up on my Facebook that you and I were at dinner at Warrior Horse when they were doing it down there, and you were a big supporter of it. So thank you, Will. And Will says, killer industry panels at the Lindemann U. Yeah, great. Several guys on the panel of culture, and I happen to be on the panel of innovation of what to do. And we said some things, got some cheers, maybe said some controversial things about what's coming or what should happen. And And yeah, that's what it's about. Try to shake it up a little bit. My message that got probably the most cheers is I said, we got the wrong message in this industry. We're telling everybody to be scared of their fireplaces. You've got all these people teaching things about how super dangerous they are. And the truth is they rarely catch on fire. I mean, they do catch fire and we focus on that. But when in the hundreds of thousands are being burned and used, it's not the big deal. Almost nobody is dying from these things. Yeah, a person can die from it. Don't get me wrong. But our message should be how much you love your fireplaces, how awesome they are. Your advertising for your company should be how great fireplaces are, not all danger. Now, I'm as guilty as anybody. Hey, chimney can catch fire. I'm your guy. But that shouldn't be the main message. The main message is let's love fireplaces, not hey, you need to call us because you never know if that thing's going to burn down and you're going to owe me $10,000. It's an insurance claim. Like, our message has to change. We have to love this industry. We have to love fireplaces. Whenever we see fireplaces, a lot of people look at it like, what's wrong with it? Everything's wrong with it. Instead of, man, love that guy's using that fireplace. Use it. When you have pictures and videos of everybody enjoying their fireplace. And I think as Lewis Lee said, it's the heart of the home. And, our messaging has to change. And that was my message on the panel. And it got quite a few people that agree with me. All right, let's see here. Why is it doing that? Okay, so Lauren says, use the hates as armor and build your army. Love it. Kaylee she was down there. Great job, Will. Had a great time. Yeah, Kaylee was down there, saw Will kicking butt, and then here is Will is the man. Yeah, Will, great job, man. I love that everybody's cheering you on for what you did, and it was one of the best events I've ever been to. Lauren says, yes, fireplaces are amazing. Fantastic stuff at Lindemann U. Absolutely stellar event. Anthony Valerio, yeah, the changing the message comment was an eye-opener. Thank you, Anthony. I was just looking at what our messaging is and also watched what the message was in Europe and in Germany. And the message is you got to have it clean. The government says clean it. You got to clean it. It's got to be safe. It's got to have so many particulates in the smoke. It's bad for the industry. And they're getting rid of all the damn fireplaces. It's going away. They're all going to electric heat pumps. No more fireplaces. Haven't had an open fireplace for a while, but no more closed systems, no more boilers, no more wood fires, fireplaces, wood stoves. Going away by 2050. Now, they may have to back up on that message. I don't know if you've seen what's happening over there, but people are pissed. But what's their message? Their message is always safe. Their message was dirtying the environment. Don't let it do that. It's not, I have to have my fireplace. I want my fireplace. My fireplace is the heart of my home. My fireplace is where I gather. It's where a lady called me today. She's like, Mark, we've had problems with these gas logs since you guys installed them. You guys fixed it the other day. Their 10-year-old fireplace but she said, it's so important to my husband to come home and put those gas logs on. And so he can chill out and read his paper and do his thing around these fireplaces. This is what makes my husband happy, and I need this fireplace to work. That is our message. That is it, guys. That has got to be our message all the way out. So when the fight comes, it's not chimney sweep saying, hey, don't get rid of my job. It's a homeowner saying, hell no, you're not going to take my fireplace away. That is the message. It's like, you're not going to take my guns away. You're not going to take my fireplace away either, damn it. That's got to be the message that we put out there, how much you love it and how much you need it. And then that's good for everybody, right? That's how it works. Lauren says, thank you, Mark, for being awesome. Oh, thank you. You constantly are lifting everyone up. I appreciate that. You about brought a tear to my eye, Lauren. You're not supposed to do that. Lauren Pilger Nelson. All right, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I've hit my hour mark. So here's the last two things. Respect people with less power than you. That's an easy one. You're lucky to be where you are. You don't have any power in reality. And do not look down on anybody. You don't know who they are, where they came from, what their story is. If they're on their way down or they're on their way up, man, cheer them on, help them. Sometimes you got to hold them accountable. I mean, part of that people less power on is being on them, saying, hey, here's the next steps. Here's the next step. Are you tracking? Come on, let's go. And always be respectful. None of us have any power. We're here for a short amount of time and then we're out. do the best you can, affect as many people as you can, and check the box that you are a good human, right? Don't rush. Yeah. As you get older, you kind of realize that everything takes longer than you think, especially building a business. Like everybody gets in these rushes to do things. And I was talking to a kid at the Lindemann University thing, and he was talking about what, he was all about chimneys, but then he had 10 other ideas and he was in a rush to like get to this level. I'm like, well, what's the level? I mean, my CSR, one of the girls that works, she's 25. She's got a house. She's been working for me since she was 18, and she just feels like she's behind. She's in this huge rush. I'm like, there's no rush. There's just time. The main thing about that is just be effective with your time. Don't waste time. Don't waste time and don't waste this life. But being in a rush doesn't help anything, especially in business growth. You don't know when you're going to have a big win or a big loss. You just got to stay in the game, because big wins come and big losses come, and it's hard to predict either one of them. But if you've built up a resilient business, you can weather the storm and you can weather the sunshine too. All right, guys, a couple more comments. That's why I picked Mark as CSI board member. Oh, I think that's John. I think that's John Pilger. Yeah, John picked me. John was very influential in my life, and John was the first president of CSIA, and he picked me to get on the board, and then I was John's vice president, and John taught me a lot. John showed me the ropes. John showed me what to do. He actually didn't show me what not to do. He's the lion of the CSIA. He had the heart and the passion for what we were trying to do as an organization, to educate people and to do the right things and make our certification legitimate, make our industry legitimate. And it was John Pilger is a one of a kind dude. Yeah, he's great. He absolutely is. He's retired now. Him and Diane are living the life. And so let me talk about that real quick. Oh, thank you, Chad. Great show. My opinion is I'm lucky and in no hurry. That's a great wrap up of the whole thing. Okay, so let's talk about real quick Spats Camini. I think most people watching this know what this is, but it's the greatest celebration of chimney sweeps on earth. It is the International Chimney Sweep Festival in San Maria Maggiore, Italy. John Pilger is basically the mayor of the town for that day, for that festival. John knows the most about it, and he puts things together. Here's how it works. We have a contingency from the U.S. that goes and represents the USA over there. It is a festival in the middle of a beautiful Italian Alps little bitty town. It's out of a storybook. Believe it or not, 1,100 to 1,500 chimney sweeps from around the world come to this town, and we march in a parade, and we're all dressed up. And John is the king of the outfits, and he can get you. You got to wear a certain outfit. It's a work code, and we put pins and stuff on it. It's very social, very social. But then we get to represent the United States, and you've never been more proud of being a chimney sweep than in this festival in this town. You're like a rock star. They cheer you. They cheer you for USA, USA. They go crazy. They can't wait for you to throw stuff to them, high five them, touch them, take a picture with them. Trenton Nelson, Lauren Pilger's husband, had, I don't know if he still has, but he had an amazing beard. I mean, it's an epic beard this guy has. You would not believe the people that were going crazy over a chimney sweep, top hat, bearded American. Like, he was a rock star of all rock stars. Now, Lauren's always a rock star. She's dressed crazy. She puts the red, white, and blue stuff on your face. And we're all just, it's the best of us at the best time. And it's cool. It's the coolest thing you got to do. It's all about a little boy of the kind of the last chimney sweeping boy who got killed sweeping chimneys. He got electrocuted, and they decided no more sweeping boys. So there's a bronze statue in the middle of a neighboring town that we all go take a picture of in celebration of him and in celebration of our trade. And in this thing, with all these people, this parade, there's 20 to 40,000 people in this little bitty town line the streets 20 feet deep, TV cameras watching you be a chimney sweep. Could not recommend it anymore. You have to see it once in your life. I've been 8 to 10 times. John Pilger's been 20 times. And it is the coolest thing you will ever do. It's worth the time. It's worth the trip. You need to see it in your lifetime. So John Pilger, Diane says they love the Americans. They do. They do. They only hated us one time. I think it was when I brought out the cowboy hats and we wore the cowboy hats. And some people loved it and some people hated it. That was the most divisive. I said, you know what? We don't really wear top hats too much. John wears a top hat. You can wear anything. It doesn't matter. You wear a baseball hat, whatever you want to wear. It doesn't matter. But I said, let's wear cowboy hats. So we wore American cowboy hats. And man, the crowd loved it. But the other chimney sweeps in some other countries are like, you guys are a little too braggadocious, but it's just us. And it was a big hit with some. We were super popular, and then sometimes we weren't. But Lauren says, yes, his beard is bigger. Oh my gosh. If he goes through a parade, they won't get off of him. Jack says, Michelle and I are going this year. Oh, dude, you are going to love it. And there's all kinds of stuff to do around it. So great. Go to Spazzacamini Americani on Facebook. That's the Facebook page. Log in, ask your questions. The updates will be there. We all stay in this hotel if we can. I got kicked out of it last year because we had a little glitch, but we all stay in a hotel together. All the Americans pretty much. And there's so much to do. It's just fascinating. Diane says, you'll make lifelong international friends. You will, because we're all in it together. So I'm not sure what this is. Chief Chimney. I think what you're talking about is all your collectibles. Yep, there it is. Chief Chimney Collectibles. So John Pilger has been such an ambassador. He's got a whole store of all of the stuff, of the outfits that you buy from him, because you really can't get them anywhere else. You get, especially the men. It's a work jacket, but the women wear them too. Talk to John. Get you hooked up, because there's certain buttons you've got to get for it. Buttons are a big deal, and certain ththings you got to get for it. You got to get some company swag. You got to get some pins that are your company, and the cooler the pin, the more valuable it is to trade with people. It's just, there's a whole culture around it. I won't go into it tonight, but it is Labor Day weekend. Kind of need to start planning if you want to do it, and we'll have a big time. Also, Lauren Pilger Nelson, you can call her. Reach out to her. They all the Pilgers have this thing down, and they are very, very nice to help us all get there. Not the week before either. Yes. Okay, guys, that's my time. Great. I love this show tonight. Thank you for all the comments. It makes everything so much better. These are the 9 life lessons and business lessons, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.